everyone. My name is Destiny.
I'm Elisa.
And my name is Evelyn.
This is Three Peas and a Podcast.
Welcome back. We decided to continue talking about ghost stories just because I think out of the three of us, we have a lot of them.
So all the ghost stories that I have are pretty much, I was with someone else. So I think that's why I believe them the most, because I wasn't the only one witnessing it. So this happened when I was in 7th grade, I think. And after school, I would usually walk home with my friend, and I would hang out at her house until my mom got off of work. So we were walking back to her house, and we both had to go to the bathroom. So then she starts like sprinting to her house because she wanted to use the bathroom that was closest to the garage entrance. So we we're like running through her garage, and then we both go into the garage entrance, and it leads into the kitchen. I'll probably draw like a sketch that we can put up to better understand like which part of the house we're running through, because this is kind of confusing. So she runs into the bathroom that's right next to the garage, and then I run and I make like a sharp right, and I run through her kitchen, and then I run out of her kitchen, and then I go up her stairs, and I go into her bedroom. And I open her bedroom door, and I leave her bedroom door open, and then I run through her room. I open her bathroom door, and I shut her bathroom door. So I go to the bathroom, and then when I open her bathroom door, her bedroom door is shut. And I specifically remember keeping it open because I was literally like running through the house because I was about to like pee on myself from spending 30 minutes walking home. So then I just kind of thought like, oh, well, maybe her mom is home and she saw that her bedroom door is open and she shut it. Because that's usually what my mom does. Like, if you're not in your room, my mom will shut your door. So I reopen her door, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I remember leaving her door open, but whatever. And then I go back downstairs, and my friend is already out of the bathroom, and she's standing in her kitchen, like, with her hands on her hips, and she looks really annoyed. And she's just like, why the fuck were you in my cabinets? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I just came out of the bathroom upstairs. And she was like, well, when I came out of the bathroom from where the garage is at, and I came into my kitchen, these cabinets were open. And so we're like arguing back and forth because I'm just like, bitch, I didn't open your fucking cabinet.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like trying to logically explain to her, like, when I was running through the kitchen, if one of the cabinets that was open was like, you know, those pantry cabinets that are like a foot long? She's like, it was open like this. And I was like, dude, I made a really sharp right into your kitchen. So if this cabinet was open, I would have smacked into it. So I was like, it wasn't open before we went into the bathroom. So then after like 10 minutes of arguing with her, she starts like freaking out. And then that's when she tells me like, I think my house is haunted because she's had other weird instances like this. And she was just like, well, if you didn't open the cabinets, all of these fucking cabinets were open in the kitchen when I came out of the bathroom. And then I told her, like, is your mom home? And she was like, no, why? And I told her, I was like, because I left your bedroom door open, but then when I came out of the bathroom, your bedroom door was shut. And I didn't hear it slam, I didn't hear it shut, I didn't hear it creak. So that's when she, like, told me, I think my house is haunted. And she and she even showed me a footage that she had captured because she woke up in the middle of the night and her TV downstairs in the living room was on, but it was, like, staticky. And she said she showed me the footage. You could literally see like a silhouette of something move across the screen, like walk in front of the TV. So she just had
and
that connects to another story that happened specifically with this girl and her mom in this house, where her mom's dad passed away and they cremated him. And the mom used to keep the urn in her room, but she doesn't keep it in the room anymore. And when I asked why, she said, her mom said that one night she got woken up because her father walked into her room. But he didn't look like, the part that like gets under my skin was she said that he didn't look like her dad. Like he looked like decrepit and like weird. Like he was moving really weird, and he looked like I think she said he looked angry, like he looked like weird. And he like decrepitly walks into the room, and he looks at the urn of his ashes, and then he looks at the mom, and then he like walked out of her room. And it scared her so much that they kept the urn in the hallway.
So creepy. Did he die tragically?
I don't know, but there is something they
I don't like that he looks like that.
yeah. But the thing is, I think the reason why that bothers me is because they were black and they were black and Asian. I forgot what her Asian side is, but specifically for Christianity, like African Americans, they don't want to cremate people. Like my mom is so serious about that. She's like,
really?
if I die, do not fucking cremate me. I want to be buried. So when she said he didn't look like how he usually did, it just made me think like maybe he didn't like that he was cremated, and maybe that has some significance to how you're going to be in the afterlife, because like my mom is so serious about that. Like,
wait,
I do not want to be cremated.
Do you know why? Like,
I don't know.
Cremation's not a thing.
Let me look that up. I think it just has something to do with like fire, and you come into this world naturally, so obviously a natural way to go out is to be put back into the ground, and like circle of life type thing. I think that's what it is.
Dude, I would have been so mad if I've been to your friend. I would have been like, why don't you believe me? Like, why would I open your cabinets? There's no point.
She was just scared. Like that. She was just scared.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
I feel like when you're scared, you're upset.
Yeah.
You're like, you did this, Destiny.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if I was that friend too, I'd be like, you did this, right? Tell me that you did this. Like, I don't want you to say that.
It's not me.
Not me. Not this.
Do you know what happened to that friend, or if they moved out of the house?
They moved out. And now she's like super into tarot cards and stuff. So I was like, because she comes over. Yeah, she comes over for like Thanksgiving and stuff. And like, I think it was last year on Thanksgiving, she came over and we were all talking, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm into tarot cards and stuff now. And she's black. She's black and Asian. And she's like, I'm into like tarot cards and stuff, and I want to read your cards and shit like that. And I was like, no, thank you.
No.
But here cremation.com, it says, while cremation is not preferred amongst Christians, it is entirely a forbidden practice. Some more conservative denominations assert that specific content in the Bible discourages the practice of cremation, but other biblical passages seem to simply support burial over cremation.
Wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
I mean, when you bury someone too, there's a place to visit compared to like just carrying a soul with you. In
Filipino culture, cremate and then you bury sometimes.
Oh, so that makes sense though. Like,
they cremate because there's not enough space. It's an island, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like not enough space for people. But that's really interesting.
If you like cremate and like bury someone, you're still like putting them back into the earth, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like my sister, when my sister's father passed away, I think she got him cremated. My mom was like, no, but it was her dad. She had the right to do whatever the fuck she wanted. So
yeah.
She cremated him because it was cheaper than burying him. It doesn't specifically say. It just says that's not. It probably has something to do with fire and like burning your natural body, and
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know that was a thing though. It's really interesting.
I didn't know either.
That's so scary. I would literally cry.
Yeah, like I was like, oh shit. I
guess I have one that kind of. It's my origin story. That's what I'm going to call it.
My origin story.
My origin story. So I didn't really believe in. So in my family, I grew up, everyone talking about it. It's called like mal de ojo, like evil eye. Everyone in our family saying like, yes, we have that. It runs in our family. But not every single person in our family has it. Some people have it where they just like sense things, and there's other people like Evelyn where it's like nothing, nada. Like it could be right next to them and they wouldn't see it. And I was one of the people that like never saw them. I don't count anything when I was young, because even with the grandpa thing, it was kind of like spooky. I'm like, I don't know, I could have just made it up. Do you know what I mean? So I never really believed in it. I had a friend in middle school that did tarot cards, and I got my tarot cards read. It was a very negative experience, by the way. But I still didn't believe anything of it. I'm like, it's just cards. And then same thing happened when I moved into the house that Destiny saw the little boy in. I also didn't believe in it, despite like when you walk in, I'm like, this house is really creepy. But again, it could be so many other reasons why that house is creepy that I never chalked it up to anything. So when I lived in that house, I had family come over like every other weekend and spend the night. And every night we were like really into ghost adventures. So like every night we always tried talking to them because everyone in my family believed in it. But for me, I'm like, this is just something fun for us to do at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nothing ever really crazy has ever happened. So that's why I'm like, this shit does not make sense. Like, it's not real. If it's real, it would have happened by now. Especially with like, out of 10 of us, 9 of the people here believe in it, except for me. So one night after that, I started noticing shit in our house, and I was just like, oh, I think something's starting to happen. But again, I kept chalking it up to like, it's just in my head, or I didn't actually see it until I started seeing the little boy and the mom. And this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. And that's why I want to tell people. I was in my room, and shit in my room kept moving, where it was not like I saw it physically get up and move, but I used to like make stuffed animals for my friends, and I made like a bunch because it was like Christmas, and I put them all on top of I put them all in my bed because I'm like, I'm going to go home, I'm going to wrap them, and I'm going to go to the party. I came home and they were not sitting on my bed, and I like texted my mom, I was like, did you see this? Did you pick it up? And I was like looking for it all over my room. I like tore up my room. And then finally I was like, if you took that shit, put it back. Like, I was pissed. I was like, where the hell is it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then I went down, ate dinner and all this stuff. And I was like telling my friends, like, I don't know where they went. And I came back up and they were neatly placed on top of my TV. No. And I was like, I didn't do that. I clearly remember because I had those old box TVs with a really big backing. So I was like, there was nothing there before. So my dumbass, all this spooky shit keeps happening to me. So what I did is one night I crumpled up a piece of ball and I sat on my bed, and I was like, okay, if this is real, if what I'm seeing is actually real, I want you to prove it to me. I put it in the middle of my bed. I'm like, and I started talking. I'm like, if you're here, like, move this piece of ball. Prove to me that you're a real thing, because I don't believe in you. That's what I said. And it like moved like a little bit. I'm like, that doesn't count. That could be air. That could be anything. Mind you, I don't even have a fan in my room and my window is closed. Like, I don't know why my dumbass is taunting. I'm like straight up taunting something at this point. I was like, do it. Like, I dare you. Like, because you know how in those shows they're always like fucking yelling at them. So that's what I was doing, because I wanted a reaction, because I'm like, why is all this shit? Like, why is cabinets moving? Why do I keep seeing these people in my house? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Tell me, when I yelled at it, that shit flung across the room. That shit got knocked off my bed. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was apologizing. Like, I was close to crying, because I was just like, I think it was like validation that like you're fucking with something you don't understand. And that house is creepy. So when we left, we were all thankful to leave. Because everyone was like, there's just something around this house. And in my head, I'm like, I fucked with it. We fucked with it way too much, and we pissed it off. So yes, there was a boy and a girl there, but I think because we kept opening up shit and like fucking with it, there was something else in that house that didn't make any sense. Because there was like, at one point, I think all of the family members sat down and talked and be like, what do you see, so we can like see how many? And it was like getting kind of crazy, like the number of shadows that we saw. And I was like, okay, I don't think it's just a boy and girl anymore. I think it's something else. Like, we fucked with it too much. And when we moved out, we all stopped. We never, in this current house, we don't talk. We don't mention it. If we see it, we're like, it didn't happen. Like, we do everything opposite of what we did. And I want to tell the story just to be like, I fucked with it, and I think I'm paying the price for it, because I see them every fucking day of my life. So it's like, don't fuck with them.
Leave things.
You want to be happy and not see anything? Don't fuck with them.
And for me, I think, go ahead, Evelyn.
I was about to say, so wait, you said you and your family called them out at first? Like, you and your cousins?
Yeah, because we used to go around the house, like, with video cameras and be like, if you're here, like, show yourself. Because I have family that already saw things before I saw things in that house. And I always called them out and be like, no, like, I don't believe you. Like, there's no way. And then after that, we all started seeing. And then that's when I told my parents, like, this is what they look like. Is this what you see? And they're like, no, it's in your head. And that's when they talked to the neighbors. And then they got that story.
So, I was about to ask that. I'm like, so your cousins had it heightened too, like everything.
Yeah, my cousins have it worse than me, which is sad to say. Yeah. But yeah.
I think that's interesting that, because for me, it's the opposite. Like, I've never played with tarot cards. I've never tried to communicate with something. So for me, the only perspective I have is religious and like spirituality type things, because I think because of the lifestyle that I was born into and the lifestyle that my mom does have, we do tap into spiritual stuff. And so I think occasionally we get negative energy in return, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because growing up, like, that's like,
I was gonna say it's very like Avatar. Like you can't have one fish without the other.
Yeah, there's always good and bad and like negative and whatever. But I've always just been taught not to let that stuff in. Like, so I think it's really interesting how, like, if you go to a tarot card reading or you go to a hypnotist or you go to whatever, they always say like, oh, you have to be open to it, or you have to let it in. You have to be open. You know what I mean? So I think there is some significance to that, because there's been times where, like, at church they'll be praying over people. Like, I remember when I was a kid, they'd be praying over people who were just like this woman was contorting her body in like a super inhuman way, and she was just screaming, and her voice sounded so distorted and like gross looking that they escorted all of the kids out of the sanctuary, and then they told all the adults to just pray so that whatever was leaving her did not attach itself to someone else. And obviously because you're a kid, you can't properly protect yourself, so they had all the kids like leave. But I remember they ended up taking the lady out of the church, like across the street, and she was a really thin lady. She was a really thin lady, and it took like 6 men because she was so strong.
Wow.
Like, it was crazy, and like the way she was contorting her body was super weird. So like my spiritual stories and stuff connect more towards like negative energy, and I think like demon type stuff. That's where a lot of my like quote unquote paranormal experiences, I think, stem from.
Well, like you said earlier, if you believe in one thing, you can't believe on the other thing. That's like the opposite. I think that's interesting too, because I remember in church, because I'm Catholic, they always say like you have to open up yourself to open up to like these experiences. But because I'm very like stubborn to,
you're just kind of like no.
Yeah, I'm very like I'm very stubborn to like put all my faith in one God. Yeah, I'm just like, well, I don't think it's ever gonna happen to me until like I literally have to give like my all, you know?
Yeah.
I really do believe in the like in Ghost Adventures where they're like, my name's Zach Bagans and I never believe in ghosts until I came face to face. I 100% believe that shit. Because I was the same way. I was like, you guys are all fucking tripping out. And now I'm like, ghosts are real. Like, spirits are real.
Mind you, I don't know. I would never try to prove it too. I'm too scared. I'm like,
don't.
Yeah.
But that's
I'm telling you they're real. There you go.
That's part of the thing, though. People who don't believe it or people who don't want to, it usually comes from fear, or it comes from, I don't want to believe in something that I don't understand. Like, that's usually what it is. So there is a part of you that's always going to be closed off to that thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is.
I'll be like,
I also think that's okay to have, Evelyn. I don't want you to open shit and be like, this is not the world I wanted to live in.
For real.
I was just making it a point because there are so many people that like don't believe in it and want it so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They think they want it.
They do.
Oh my God, yes.
Because Shane from Unsolved, he'll say till he's blue in the face, I want to see something, I want to hear something. But then when he's presented with like an occurrence that almost happens, he's like, no, it wasn't that. Like, I don't think it was that. Like, you know what I mean? So you can tell yourself you want that experience, but I don't think you do.
Because I think people who are like, I want to see a ghost, they want to see like a fucking like a person standing in front of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not going to look like that. Yeah, it's not going to feel like that.
Their terms. Yeah. Like, I want to experience this, but in this way. And if it's not like this, I don't want it. But most of the time, that's not how that shit works.
No.
For real. No, that's why I never, like, when people tell me stories, I'm not like,
That didn't
quick.
happen.
No, yeah, like, I'm not like, that didn't happen, or like, shoot them down already. I'd be like, okay, that did happen to them, but I don't think it would happen to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I honestly think that's the best way to live.
Yeah, it really
is
is.
the best way to live. I have my partner is very into, like, he really wants to see them, and I'm always saying, you're gonna keep saying this, and something really scary is gonna happen to you, and you're gonna wish that you never said that. Because I feel like I was the same way. I'm like, everyone else in my family sees, like, what the hell? And now I'm like, no, I just play hide and go seek with a fucking ghost. Like, that's just scary as hell. Like, I'm not. Also, I want to put in that I'm not like before I saw those things, I was not super spiritual or religious. Like, I didn't sit with a religion. For a long time in high school, I sat with, like, atheism. And then stuff started happening. I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna second guess anything.
Okay, well, this is kind of like going out of the topic, but do you think like prayers and stuff like that work for you?
That's actually a good segue, because I was going to bring up the fact that religion is a coping mechanism. How, because like as human beings, we have a cognitive existence where we question everything. So the biggest question of existence is like, why are we here? What is the purpose of the universe? And we don't have any evidence or a definitive answer for that. So that's where religion comes in. Religion gives us a way to cope with our existence and our meaning. So I think religious practices are the same way. Like I even though I believe that religion is a coping mechanism, because I grew up being taught, like, if you're ever afraid of something, or, you would pray. So that's what I still do, and it makes me feel better. But I don't know if praying is, like, there's no scientific evidence that praying is actually doing something to my environment, or if it's actually fixing the solution. Like, if someone goes in for a surgery, you pray that they're going to be okay, because you have no control over the outcome. So praying gives you a sense of relief, or it makes you feel like you have an influence on something that you don't.
That's true.
So anytime anything really, really scary has happened, I don't pray. It's not something I grew up on. Again, like, I really fought against, like, my family's Catholic. I don't really know if I would say that I'm Catholic, but I don't, like, pray. That's, like, not a thing that I do. But if I do I don't directly talk to them. I'm not like, can you please stop it? I always talk to my environment. That's what I do. So, for example, like, I was hiking in Yosemite. I did a lot of research on the Native American belief system, because I am someone that, just because I don't see it and I don't believe it, I'm not going to question it, because I'm like, that's their land. They know their land better than I ever will. And I saw a bunch of things talking about a lot of different spirits and beliefs there. So when I was hiking, every time before I start a hike, I'd be like, I'm just going here because I really want to see the nature around here. I do not want to disrespect anything that's here. So I'm not praying per se, but I guess you could say that, like, that is a prayer. Like, you're saying something to the environment before you go in. Just because I'm trying to tell whoever or whatever is there that I'm not a bad person. I'm not here to fuck with them. I'm literally here to see the waterfall and leave. And that's the same thing that I do in my house. If something really scary has happened to me or is happening in my room, I'd be like, this is the place that I live at. I've lived here for X amount of years. I am just trying to get a night's rest. And I apologize if I am bothering anything out there. And then I go to bed. I don't sit there and try to have a conversation with them. And I don't sit there and I pray. But I guess you could say what I'm doing is praying.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
What about you, Evelyn?
Oh, I was going to ask Destiny first. Wait, do you pray, Destiny, when that happened?
Yeah, but it's not like like how I was raised is like, when I would have a nightmare, I would go to sleep with my parents, just like every kid would do. But then once I got to the age of, like, I don't know, 7 or 8, and I would have a nightmare, my mom would be like, no, you can't sleep with us anymore. Like, you have to fight these things on your own. So she would say, like, I remember my mom said, like, I don't want you to call on me, I want you to call on Jesus or whatever. You know what I mean? So as I got older, what I was taught growing up was, if something is bothering you, or there's negative energy, or if there's a demon or whatever, they don't have the right to invade your space or your body or your whatever. You were created by some divine being, some energy, some whatever, whether it's Jesus, God, whatever, you were created with some type of, you have free will, you have divine right. So you have the right to tell that thing, I don't want you here. You don't have to be here. Like, don't mess with me or my things or my whatever.
Hello?
Destiny cut out.
No.
What the heck?
That sounds. Just talking about this topic sounds really creepy.
I know. I feel like Destiny. Okay. We're gonna come back when she comes back, but Destiny's door is open behind her, and I'm so scared that something's gonna pop up. Oh, there you are. Oh, she's back. Were you still recording your story? Because it cut off for us.
Oh, yeah. My audio is just going to have like 10 seconds of me telling my mom that I don't want food. But yeah, like...
we were like so scared for a minute. We were like, what happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, my mom called.
They got her!
I'm sorry.
Isn't there like a movie based on
that? Yeah, that was the worst timing. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
I'm like, she's telling the truth of the universe and they took her out.
No, that my mom called. I'm sorry. I just gave you guys like a heart attack.
Yeah.
Everyone looked at each other like, Destiny?
But no, I grew up being taught that you have the power, you have dominion over yourself and your belongings and your psyche. So that's why usually negative energy will use fear, because fear makes you feel powerless and it makes you feel small. Like my mom used to always tell me growing up, like, God doesn't give you the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So whenever you're afraid of something or you're in an environment that makes you feel afraid, that emotion is not something that God gives you, because you have power to over yourself and over your environment. So whenever I would wake up from like a bad dream or whatever, I would always like, I wouldn't pray like, dear Jesus. I would just be like, whatever the fuck is in here, you do not have the right to be in here. And I pray over like myself and my environment or whatever. Like that's usually what I would do. And then I would just kind of, I don't really think that I've ever like been like, dear Jesus, please protect me, you know, because I have power because of Jesus or because of God or whatever entity there is. So when I say like, that's why like pastors or whatever, they'll say like, I command you to do this thing because you are given the right to say that or to do that.
Yeah.
So
you just think it, or do you say
either or? Like I remember like this super like crazy experience happened. I used to share a room with my sister and my niece, and we were all asleep. And I remember I got woken up from like a crazy dream. And the only thing that I can remember, it was just like a weird imagery of like this thing. Like I don't want to call it a demon, but I remember before I woke up, it was like this crazy imagery of this thing. And then like literally seconds later, my niece woke up crying because she also had a bad dream. And she was telling my sister, like, I saw something. And I just remember thinking like, holy shit, like did me and my niece just have the same nightmare?
Yeah.
Because we both woke up at the same time. So immediately I started praying over my niece. Because if she saw the same thing that I saw as like a 4-year-old, she's terrified.
Yeah.
So like my sister prayed with my niece, and then they probably thought I was asleep, but I was also awake, and I was just praying for my niece because I would rather deal with that thing than her.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
that was
trippy. Scary as hell. Your dreams are very interesting.
Yeah, they're extremely vivid, which is crazy.
But I also feel like they're not dreams sometimes, because the story you just told now, and then the one with the little boy in my house, those are too close to
reality.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if Destiny's like into, like she's in and out of a dream too. You know
like,
what I mean?
And like the crazy thing is, okay, this is gonna be kind of a funny story. I don't give a fuck. I'm not embarrassed by this because I was so like shaken up by it. But there was an apartment that we used to live in, me and my family, where like a bunch of crazy shit would happen. We would all have crazy vivid dreams. What's it called? What are vivid dreams called? There's a certain name for them.
Night terrors.
Yeah, where me and my siblings would all fucking have them. And this was when my sister was pregnant, and they would be like really fucking real. Like my sister had a dream that there was a snake. She used to sleep with my mom, and she had a dream that there was a snake like coiling around their body. And it was so real that her pregnant ass jumped out of the bed and was like screaming.
Yeah.
And like that's how vivid our dreams were. So I remember being in that apartment, like I would always feel like a negative energy, especially when I was in the bathroom. And that was like, you're like the most vulnerable when you're in the bathroom. You're going to the bathroom or you're in the shower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would always feel like something was looking at me or something was there. So I would always close my bedroom door before I went to sleep. And this can kind of follow into our Angels and Demons podcast because it has to do with my sleep paralysis. But another dream that I had in that apartment that was crazy was I dreamt that I had to go to the bathroom, but I ended up peeing on myself in real life. And I was way past the age where peeing on yourself was acceptable. Like, like when I had to get up and go to my mom and be like, I need sheets. She's like,
what?
Yeah, like she literally sat up in her bed was like, you just did what? Like you're about to be in 8th grade and you just pissed yourself? And like the reason for that though was because I literally had a dream that I was asleep and I had to pee, and I got out of my bed, walked across my room, turned my light on, sat on the toilet, and went to the bathroom. And the only way I knew that it wasn't real was because when I was sitting on the toilet, my lap was getting wet, and I physically looked down and was like, if I'm sitting on the toilet right now, why is my lap wet? And then I woke up. And I was like, holy shit. Like, it freaked me out because literally, like...
It was too real.
It was way too fucking real. Like my hand on the wall to reach the light was real. The fibers of the carpet on my feet was real. Everything in my room was the same. Like, it was literally identical to real life. Except for... And that was, like, the break in the Matrix. Was, like, if you were sitting on the toilet right now, your lap wouldn't be wet.
Yeah.
That was the only way I knew I was asleep.
What do you think that was? Do you think it was your dreams, or do you think it was something else?
I don't know. I have to think it was a dream, but I also think maybe dreams are some form of a reality. I don't know. Because it, like, to this day, I'm just like, it was way too fucking real. And the crazy thing is people will be like, oh, in order to astral project, look down at your hands, because usually you'll be missing a finger. But my freaking dreams are so realistic. There is no differentiation between what's real and what's not.
I have a dream story, but I don't know if it's like a dream or not. Do you know what I mean? It's just like yours, because I'm like, I don't know. I think I should Google what it means. But there was a time and place that back in the day, people were really into lucid dreaming. Yeah. Which I'm going to Google it because I don't want to give the wrong definition. Lucid dreaming is... All right, my internet's slow. Lucid dreaming. A lucid dream is a dream during which the dreamer is aware. And it just... Sorry, my internet sucks. Hold on, give me a second. A lucid dream is that they're dreaming, so they can kind of control it. So it was I was in high school, and it was at the Scary House, of course, because I'm so smart. And I was with my boyfriend at the time and my cousin, and we came across literally a Tumblr post with like how to lucid dream, and we're like, oh my god, we should try it. Like, we have nothing else to do because we're 14 and we can't drive. So we all laid down on my bed. Like, I was in the middle and my boyfriend's on one side and then my cousin's on the other side, and we did exactly what the post says. Like, we were supposed to chant something or some shit, empty your mind and be open to it, everything that you're not supposed to be fucking doing. And this is when like I started seeing stuff too, so I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but again, I was dumb. And so what my dream was, quote unquote, it's a dream. I don't know. For me, I don't think it's a dream. I think it actually happened. But I sat up, and both my cousin and my boyfriend were knocked out. I was in my room. Everything was exactly the same. There was nothing wrong or different. And I look up, and I don't know how else to describe them, but they look like cherubs, like little little kid angel things, but they didn't have wings or anything like that. And I grabbed one of their hands,
No.
And there was like, it was two on either side of me if I was looking up. And when I grabbed one hand, there was like rows of them, like going all the way up.
Oh my gosh.
So I was all like, hell yeah, I'm fucking lucid dreaming, bitch.
No.
Like, I was so excited. Like, I fucking did it. Like, I'm dreaming. This is it. And so they're like they grab onto my arms and they're like passing me upwards.
No.
And they sound like really, I can't make out any of the words. None of the words made sense to me, but it was like very ching chiming and like very sweet. And like, and then I'm past my house at this time, but they kept telling me like, don't look down, like super happy. So I didn't. And I was like going up, and it was the surrounding area was exactly where I lived. Like when I was going up, I'm like, yeah, that's the Walmart, that's the thing. Like everything was correct. The further I got up though, the singing got distressed.
No.
It was like so distressed, and like the grab on my arm was too tight all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And like suddenly I didn't see cherubs anymore. It was just the feeling of it.
No.
And I was getting like anxiety. Like that's what it felt like. And the chim, like the da-da-da, it didn't sound like that anymore. It was like really distorted and creepy and like, and I was telling them like, I'm not okay. I'm like not comfortable. I'm not open to this. And they're like, yes, you are. You are. I'm like, I'm not open. Like, and then I yelled at them. I'm like, drop me. And I literally, when they said that, like all the grip on my body disappeared, and it felt like I fell from like 1,000 feet, and I slammed into my body.
I hate those.
And I like gasped, and I woke up, and I was like, no, like I was like, this is not, whatever we're doing is not okay.
No.
And I like shook awake them. I was like, no, like get up. Like I was telling them, and they're like, did you lucid dream? I was like, I don't know what the fuck that was.
I was about to say that again. Was it even lucid dreaming to be considered lucid dreaming?
No, I 100% think that I opened myself up. I was already vulnerable to it because I already saw them, and they're like, this is the time to take this bitch out. Like, I swear they saw me open, because that's what the little paragraph on Tumblr was. Like, you have to chant something, you have to keep yourself open, you have to keep your mind open. I feel like I was too fucking open. Like, I feel like they
vulnerable. Made you do like an incantation or something.
What is that?
It's like when witches do like little like kind of like rituals, like little like say these things, do this thing, like pray to this thing. Because that doesn't sound like lucid dreaming at all.
No,
because lucid dreaming is you're dreaming, and then in the middle of it you're like, oh, I'm dreaming.
Yeah. No, because my mom,
I never lucid dream again.
Again, my mom says that a lot. I think specifically, I don't know what you guys were doing, whether it was lucid dreaming or not, but I was taught not to do that because your energy, your soul, your whatever is not in your body. So that leaves your vessel open for something else to come in. So
your mom should be my mom, because I did everything that your mom told me not to do.
What's it called? When people meditate too, like hardcore meditate, they pray too. Like they do not a pray, but like a ritual, basically, where they're like, in this time where I'm meditating and I'm vulnerable, no like negative energies come into this positive energy. Yeah, you are, and like Destiny said when she was going like to the bathroom, like a vulnerable state, like negative things will try to get at you.
Yeah, when you're vulnerable. Yeah, for real.
I just thought it was so fucking smart. It's so smart. They looked like children. Like, why would I not trust them?
Yeah, exactly. And that's usually what they do. They'll come to you.
And it was very chimey and like happy. And then the second I think they're like, she's too far in now, I'm gonna fucking fuck with her.
Yeah.
I think I honestly think like I think it was because there was other people in the room.
Yeah.
That I was able to like fall back out of it, because I was just like, and I think they got pissed because I was like, I'm not open. So they fucking threw me down from the sky, and they were like, fucking go back then. And I was like, what the fuck?
I actually wanted...
Scary.
Yeah. I actually wanted to make a point. When we were talking about energies and, like, between you and Destiny and, like, praying, I found it, like, really interesting that, like, Elisa says she, like, apologizes to, like, the things around her.
Yeah.
Whereas Destiny is, like, more domineering, and she's like, you're not allowed in this area.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's interesting.
It's different.
It's different, but you're still not letting them in the sense. You're still, like, what's it called?
You're guarded. You're like, you're
No, you're letting them know that you're aware of them, but in a sense, you're still not letting, like you said, guarded. We're not letting them in.
Yeah, you are in this plane, I'm in this one. You know what I mean? But
I also think, sorry.
If I was where Alyssa, I think what Alyssa did was correct. Like, I think I would do what Alyssa did when she went to Yosemite. Because again, it's just, so I think, like, my approach is whenever it bothers me, whenever I'm having a negative experience or when I'm having a bad dream, that's when I'm like, back the fuck up, bro, you know? That's when I have that type of an attitude.
I think the difference between me and Destiny is that Destiny's happens to her while mine is always happening. So I think that's why I'm always apologetic, because I don't know what I'm about to see, but I'm prepping for what I am going to see. Versus with Destiny, it's like something already fucked with her for her to act upon it.
And I grew up knowing the difference. Like,
exactly.
In school, and my mom would tell me, like, you'll know the difference between a good energy and a bad one. You'll know the difference between, like, an angelic voice, an angelic intuition, and a negative one.
Do you think because Alyssa, you see them more, you're more apologetic, like you said earlier? Is that what it is?
I think it's the Filipino culture that, okay, no, I don't want to chalk it up to Filipino culture because not all Filipinos believe in that. I think it's what my family has taught me is that if a ghost or a spirit is messing with you, it's because you did something to them. So that's why my parents are like, if something scary happens, then that's when you apologize. But now I take it for no matter where I go, I'm going to always apologize. I think for Yosemite, I apologize because that's not my land and their land has been stolen and like reaped, that I don't want to upset them anymore. Cause I'm like, I'm just here to experience the environment and leave. But if it was like a house or anything like that, I think it's more just telling them like, I'm aware of you, but I'm going to leave you alone type of thing.
Because I feel like in Catholic religion, it's the same where like if anything bad ever happens and we tie this back to like a demon or devil, we always like have that same mindset where it's like, you are the one in control. And like Destiny said earlier, you're a child of Jesus, you're a child of God. Like they can't do anything to you.
Right.
But I also think, I don't know, like we were talking about energies earlier, how like ghosts, like a theory is that they could leave energy behind. So we don't know if that's negative energy. So I want to point out if like praying is a positive energy and that's why it's combative. It works, you know? And then with praying, I don't know, my belief with praying is that whatever word we use, because people use it so much and they say it works, I wouldn't be surprised if it derives from an ancient culture, religion, and like Latin things that we're not aware of. We just say it and we're like, well, it works.
Yeah.
But we don't
like
know if it has
anything. And it's
deeper.
Like, okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Any deeper meaning.
That makes a lot of sense. And I've also heard my mom saying like, people are praying against me. And I never asked her what that meant. But to me, I'm just like, well, when you pray, aren't you praying to God? Why would God, quote unquote, grant something negative? So how could someone pray against someone else? But then as I got older, I started to realize like people pray to different things and people wish different things on other people. So I think when my mom said people pray against her, they mean like people are projecting negative energy to you or what you're trying to do in your life. I think that's what she meant.
Yeah, that's true.
We're almost at another hour.
Damn, that was faster than the first one, I think. We're just going to have like 9 parts to this.
Because there's so much you can delve into.
Yeah, there is.
Oh my gosh.
And we started crossing over into the religion, angels and demons, because I think all of this is related to each other.
It's hard to not talk about it because, I mean, especially it's really interesting. We all really believe in different things too.
It's interesting because I read the article where Einstein, his theory was that energy isn't created or destroyed; it's just converted from one thing to another. Yeah. So because we are beings that have energy, we project energy. Like it's already been proven that like as human beings, we give off heat. Heat is an energy. Our skin absorbs light, so we also reflect light. Light is an energy. We have electrical energy, in our bodies. So I do believe that our energy, like when our physical body dies, all of that energy does have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I feel like I believe that too. Or like even though like there's those scientists that are always like, well, blah blah blah, he didn't mean this and that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's very true. Like, why
Mhm.
wouldn't your energy stay behind, or like?
It'll
I also
go into
believe,
nature. Or it'll go somewhere. You know, it
right?
gets
Yeah.
converted into something.
I don't know. This is out of topic, so you can cut this. But I always believe too. Like, there's no explanation why we would be all so different. You know, why we all
Mhm.
have different mindsets, different tastes, different
Mhm.
cultures. If there was like a higher being and he wanted us to have everything the same so we
Right.
wouldn't like corrupt anything, then why wouldn't we all be made the same? You know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's why when people are like, well, your soul, this and that. Like,
There's no divine like outline to the universe.
Yeah.
Because then why are we all so different?
yeah, why are we all so
Yeah.
different? Like, why is your soul not the same as mine? You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I also learned that we have free will, so that's why like when people say, like I think some things happen for a reason, but I don't think that everything that happens is a divine reason, because human beings have free will, so we have the ability to fuck up our own shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that I don't believe that Hitler was a divine purpose. You know what I mean? I feel like divine purposes can happen, but human influence, because we have free will, we fuck up our own shit too. More often than the divine stuff.
Yeah, like you don't believe in destiny pretty much. Like this is what's written in the stars for me.
Yeah, I feel like some things are for sure, but not everything in your life is written out for you. No.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't believe in like destiny. I don't believe that. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who believe like my book is already written for me, so whatever I do is the right choice, versus what I believe is like you're writing your chapters as you go. And there might be like some pages that are already written out, but it's up to you whether or not you get there. That's like what I always tell people. I'm like, yeah, that could be your goal or what you believe should happen, but then I don't know. I feel like we're getting away from the topic. But anyways.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I was about to say something else, but then it's a tangent that doesn't connect to what we're talking about.
Do you want to end this ghost cast one? Because we're at 48.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we can just talk about stuff and then just bring it up next time.
Yeah, so next time, do you guys want to dive into angels and demons, and we can talk more about religion in that one?
Yeah.
And we can contemplate the universe.
The universe.
Oh my god, we went from nerdy stuff to like contemplating
our life. We're multifaceted, okay?
I know, oh my
god. Thank you guys for coming to part 2 of our Ghost Cast, our next spooky season podcast. We're going to dive more into religion, angels and demons, stuff of that nature. Make sure to subscribe, follow us, and let us know down below what you guys believe.
Bye.